How's it doing?
Great.
Rick, what's the
Super.
significance of that
Good.
song?
Uh,
I don't know. It
I
seems
don't
like a
either.
cultural moment in time that Rick Hale would have a good story about.
I mean, it's at the Georgia games. They play this right before kickoff. It's pretty exhilarating.
Yep. There you go. All right. So, real quick, we've been doing these industry updates on Circle, and the feedback we got is everybody liked being able to interact and talk. And we could have done that on Circle, but we just threw the towel in and said Zoom's a better experience. So here we go. We're back on Zoom. So I'm thinking it's going to take everybody to a minute to figure out how to get back with us on Zoom. But we're excited. Allie Steele with us today out of Midtown. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
All right, I'm good. Okay, let's jump in. Let me get the screen
Can
up
I add
here.
one thing while you do that?
Please do.
So what I love about Zoom over Circle was just the experience of being able to connect visually with people. And we love our folks. And so if you're on the call and have capacity, turn on your video because that's what makes it special. It's a community and that's what helps us thrive. So there's Vicky. What's up, Jade? All the
We like to
OGs
see
are in
your
the
face,
house, Gabriel.
Gabriel, Felicia.
Alicia, look at this.
Mr.
See,
It's
this is
so
what I
much
do.
more fun
Jeffrey.
when people are on video.
Yeah, and Jeffrey, I don't care that you're driving. Just give us a side profile. It's good to see you, sir.
And be careful. There's my
Yeah,
liability
well, that too.
disclosure.
That too, right?
We'll just look at your chin. It's all
It
good.
is so much more fun. Thanks, Jane.
I'm going to go off script for a second. So Jeffrey Melvin is our productivity coach out of West Cobb, but he just recently got certified to teach Quantum Leap for young adults. And we're putting a QL for young adults coming up. I think, when did we decide to do it, Jeffrey?
February 24th.
Okay, so you'll see that. But honestly, I saw you and I just thought it was an opportunity. It's a big deal to teach a young adult life principles, and Jeffrey's probably one of the best. So we're excited to be able to bring that coming up in January. Off script, moving on. All right.
And your kids are welcome though. If you've got kids that meet the criteria or the age, the bracket that it serves, this is a huge bonus that again, some things we do that no one does.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Fulton County, activity is up. And I want you to pay attention to this because it's going to bring into talking points today. So a week ago, there was 1,020 active status changes. And then this week, there was 1,124. And if you kind of look back, these 4 weeks in between, we had changed the way we were searching. So disregard these 4 weeks. And for whatever reason, we can't go back and fix it. But compare it to before, one of the storylines that I think is very relevant right now is as we're going into the fourth quarter, you're going to start to see that activity is up. And you're seeing activity here on the active side. But when we jump down here to active under contract in Fulton County, we had 107 go under contract in the last 7 days. The week prior, we had 125. The week prior to that was 137. And then we had this lull kind of in the month of September. But not every county is holding true to what I'm about to say. Yet we're starting to see kind of some summer comparable activities going into the fourth quarter, which is very refreshing. If you had asked me 3-4 months ago, Brett, what's your crystal ball for the fourth quarter? I would have said, I don't know. But right now, if we're looking at crystal ball conversation around what the fourth quarter is going to look like, it's probably going to be pretty good. And we're really seeing a lot of activity come up. September started out a little flat, but big numbers going into fourth quarter on pendings. There's 231 pending. We had 169 close out in the last 7 days, 272 the week before, 276 the week before that. These are summer kind of numbers. So while I'm guessing when I start to go back and look and study September wasn't bad, but it certainly wasn't off the chains good. But boy, there's a lot of activity looking good going forward into October. And you should feel that in your business too. If I jump over to DeKalb County, same kind of story. Look at this active status change number, 728, 642 the week before. 74 went under contract in the last 7 days and 66. So maybe not as drastic in DeKalb County. And pendings, though, we're at 183. Go back to summer months, 174, 167, 169 pending. 183 is a big number going into the fourth quarter with 92 that closed out in the last 7 days, 189 the week before. These are kind of the end of the month closings. If I go back to July, the end of the month was 150. If I look at the end of August, it was 202 and 99. We're at 189 and 92. These are healthy numbers going into the fourth quarter. Cobb County, oh, I forgot to scroll. Hold on. Gotta wait for it. Where is it? Wake up. All right, there you go. All right. We've been doing this so long, the data takes longer to load. All right. 649 in active status changes, Cobb County, big number comparatively. 70 and 75 in the last 2 weeks. Maybe a little off summer months. It maybe is a little bit fourth quarter, but it certainly looks like it's starting to improve from the September numbers, which feels really good. 182 pending. These are comparable numbers to what we were seeing in the summer. And then 156 closings, 172 the previous week. Go back to end of July, it was 188. End of August, it was 130 and 219. So 156 and 172 are healthy for this time of year going into that fourth quarter. And I really want that message kind of driven into everybody's brain is we're actually speeding up, not slowing down right now. And that's really good. And you should feel that. And somebody talk to us. Are you feeling that in the phone calls you're receiving? Are you starting to see that in the showings on your listings? Somebody talk to us.
We got one message. Vicky received multiple offers on a listing and was in a multiple offer situation for buyers this weekend.
Yep. They're right there is speeding up, right?
Yeah.
Anybody?
It's Jeffrey. It's Jeffrey
Melvin.
Record numbers of open house attendees also, and multiple unrepresented buyers coming through our open houses this weekend. Very encouraging.
Yeah. And what, well, obviously good weather helps. But interest rates are a big factor in that too, I would believe.
Yep. And
Yeah.
partnering with multiple listings around you, partnering with other agents in your office, because it's giving you double the marketing and double the exposure.
There you go. All right. Our good friend Zillow. Let me get to the top of this article. Zillow is a uniquely positioned data source. So not only do they get all the same data we get in the MLS, but they kind of have some data points of like people saving listings, how many views on certain listings. And that data gives them some insight that they then pass on to us. And one of the questions most agents ask, Allie, I would assume, is, or they get asked is, what's going to happen to pricing in the future?
Mm-hmm.
And Zillow is going out on a limb and doing a little predictions here. And one of the cool things of this article is it lets you zoom in around the country. So I can come over here and zoom in, and before I get to it, I want you to see the time frame. This is what they're predicting is going to happen to pricing from August this summer to August next year. So next 9 months. And when we get wherever it is, Atlanta, they're predicting a 1.2% price increase. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot. But if you look at all the blue on the chart, that blue means going backwards. And if I just, so
Like go to Florida or Texas, zoom out.
Yeah, I'll just zoom out. You can see
Yeah.
Louisiana's getting clobbered. Texas is slightly down. Austin's down 2.4. But when you get here to Atlanta and we're looking at a 1.2 price increase between August to August in the long game, you need to understand that's probably a really good trait for where we live and sell real estate. Now, it ain't 10% like it was, and it's certainly less than the 4% historic average. Yet 1.2 just says we're in a healthy real estate environment and we're expecting pricing to go up just ever so slightly over the next 9-12 months. I see that as good. And when you're asked the question, oh, I'm worried the world's going to fall apart and I'm going to buy a house today and pricing is going to go backwards, you can pull this map up and show them, hey, real estate in Atlanta is pretty strong, and zoom in on it and give them the data. Now, this is the long game. Before I show you the short game, I just want you to feel really blessed to live in Atlanta, Georgia. Look at some of these cities: Houma, Louisiana; Lafayette, Louisiana; New Orleans, Louisiana; San Francisco. They're all looking at price declines, with the worst of the worst being almost 8% price decline. Of course, some of the cities in the Northeast are looking at bigger increases than us, but here's the short game. So this is saying, what is the expected price forecast in the next 60 days before November 30th? And you can imagine we're in the fourth quarter. They're showing a price decline of 0.2% before November 30th. And honestly, you might as well just call that flat.
Oops, I would go ahead and oops.
It's a great narrative for you to play out. So when is the best time to buy real estate? I mean, that's the proverbial question. And it's now or any time in the past, especially when the data supports flat or down with the trend that's.
I got her.
All right, cool. So my point is this is a narrative and a story and it empowers you to ask good questions and to inspire some confidence, because what I believe is most, especially owner occupied buyers, they don't necessarily have to kill it. It's not a lottery ticket buying real estate. It's a long game, like you said. Most just don't want to lose. And I think the indication in what you're showing is data wise illustrates a high probability that you're not going to lose and that there's upside potential. This could be the best time to buy historically. No one knows until we're there, but this is positive information.
Yeah, definitely grateful for where we live, because it could have went the other way super easily.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at this, we're like barely blue, but there's actually quite a few areas around Atlanta. Like Athens is showing an increase, Macon's showing an increase, Warner Robins, Columbus, Georgia. These areas around are showing an increase. We're showing flat. Chattanooga's basically flat too. So we're here, but when I zoom out, look at all the blue, the dark blue of areas that are probably getting price depreciation. It just is a blessing to be where we are in selling real estate.
And Brett, what's the story behind the story? I mean, the fact that it's blue, like if you're going to add or elaborate, to me, I believe that the stability of our job market, cultural attraction, immigration, we're still drawing people to our communities because they're healthy and thriving in many ways. And so that's the real story. What's the experience like? And then the data follows that experience.
Boom.
So-
All right, moving on. This is an awareness factor. So I've been in the industry 26 years, and this is probably one of the facets of our industry that gets changed the most around innovation and technology. And a lot of our agents, one of their lead generation arms of their business is attached to SEO. And I remember 10 years ago going to conferences where everybody's telling you to write blog articles and all this stuff, which was just how to get found organically in SEO. But what does SEO look like in most real estate agents' business that play the game today? They typically hire, there's a few crazy ones that do it themselves, but most people hire third-party companies. And those third-party companies, just to name a few, at one point was Boomtown or Sync, or I think Boomtown's called Bold Trail now. Ylopo's one of them. And the agents are spending upwards of $2,500 a month for these companies to run the back end of SEO to bring them leads. All I'm saying is if you're not aware, the SEO game of real estate is changing drastically right now. And this is an effect of AI. So the people going to Google and leads getting created from Google is on a steep decline with a large incline in people getting found through the chat GPT, the all the AI features. And why I think this is important to talk about is one, for awareness, but two, if you're an agent that's spending $2,500 a month on some kind of third party SEO lead generation piece to your business, you better be watching your numbers really close. Because at that expense level, you go 6 months into this thing, you're going to be 15 grand in the hole before you know it and not getting a return because the industry shifted quickly. I'm not saying it's dead, and I think it's probably still viable. But if that's who you are and that's how you're building your business, you better be on top of it because it's changing very drastically right now. Any other thoughts? Anybody playing this game and seeing a decrease in leads?
Comes down to holding your money accountable
Yeah.
and making sure that your return matches the investment and the risk. And so it's, what does MREA say, Brett or Allie? What ROI should you get from advertising dollars?
Yeah, Allie. I know.
You know I'm not good at the book,
All
okay?
right.
I didn't mean to call you
But-
out. Just pick a number. What is a reasonable return? Here's the thing.
Every dollar you spend, you should receive $4 in revenue.
There it is. And if you're not, red light, green light, like go back to MREA. This is blocking and tackling.
Yep.
Don't chase
Anyway,
bad
it's
money
an
with
awareness.
bad money.
The article goes into, when you read more, okay, now this, they said, an attack on people who may still be making these Instagram posts of 10 tips to sell your home or 10 reasons why it's great to sell your home during the holidays, whatnot. They said leaning into investing in video and personal touches, essentially making sure that when the person is ready, that you are easily accessible.
Yep. There you go.
Well, and couple this with to your point, your peer-to-peer, face-to-face, belly-to-belly marketing. Because if this algorithm dries up or gets saturated, which I'm in another industry with an investment and I watch month over month, some months the leads are great and some months it's obvious that they're shooting, in the dark, hoping for something, and the quality comes and goes. And so don't hang your hat on that exclusively.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So real estate.
One more thing they said also, really dive more into being more hyper local, your experience.
Right.
You can speak about this street in particular, this school district, this community, and your experience with that. And that's something that AI can't go ahead and replicate.
That's true. I
Yeah.
love it. All right. I'm going to hit a couple articles fast. One is, why has inventory growth slowed? Look, we can go into the reasons and you can read it, but here's what I'm going to say about this. Real estate is a game of supply and demand. And I believe that the amount of supply coming to the industry has slowed down. And I actually think that's a good thing for our industry because if the same rate of supply that was coming to the industry continued, we would find ourselves in a price depreciation climate and we would find ourselves in a very strong buyer's market, and we're not. So it's actually the fact that inventory coming to the market is slowing down and demand is increasing is healthy for our market and healthy for our industry. And it's just a good talking point that there's less inventory coming on the market. And builders are probably a factor of this because builders are panicked right now over what the next 18 to 24 months looks like. And they're probably going to be very cautious going forward. So it's certainly going to slow down the overall inventory of the market. The next thing I wanted to hit was this. And this is not a political conversation, it's more of an awareness conversation, but there's a political element, so bear with me. There was a bill passed that was called the Big Beautiful Bill. And it's really one of the facets of this bill has a big effect on real estate, specifically real estate investors. So what happens is prior to the bill being passed, there's this thing called bonus depreciation. And it used to be 40% of that depreciation you were allowed to take as a tax write-off. However, the bill put it back at 100%. So what this means is if I buy a piece of real estate as an investor and I do what's called cost segregation, I can accelerate my depreciation and write it off against my income at 100% right away. So there's probably some investors out there in the marketplace that want to take advantage of this on their 2025 taxes. So they might be buying real estate today to do cost segregation so they could take this depreciation to pay less taxes in 2025. And it's good, I think, through 2029. Don't quote me on that. I think it's good for the next couple of years. But as you're a real estate agent on this call, and at some point in time, you're going to deal with investors if you don't already. And you need to make yourself familiar with what bonus depreciation is, because this is the biggest benefit for a real estate investor in the last couple years. Now, I don't think you have to be an expert, and this is where the real estate professional raises their hand and says, contact your CPA, contact your lawyer, get the proper legal advice. But you better at least have some level of understanding because I think an investor is going to know about this and you need to be able to talk intelligently. Rick, did I do that justice or you want to clean it up?
No, you did great. I think the whole idea is to spawn more business and more investing and more spending. And that creates the spinoff as jobs and ancillary companies, and it's just like when someone buys a house, there's dozens of people that benefit, landscapers and Home Depots and Lowe's of the world and contractors and renovators. Like everybody wins when people keep moving money around. And so that's the idea, is to inspire big investors to keep dropping money into the market. And the tax advantages are undeniable. And the only fair warning I would maybe layer this with is you capture 100% year one, which is a beautiful thing, and it offsets income. But be careful, if it doesn't, you still can't sell that inside of the depreciation timetable without a recapture. So you still have to hold it. This is a long-term game for investors.
Yeah, I mean, in transparency, I spent most of yesterday getting my act together because I filed an extension on my taxes and I was putting it all together to get to my CPA this morning. And you better believe anybody putting their taxes together thinks, man, I got to figure out how to pay less taxes. And this is one of the big strategies people use to pay less taxes, right?
For many people, it's your most expensive liability.
Yeah. All right. But now let's go political. The government shut down.
Ugh.
All right. So here's the history. The last time the government shut down, it lasted 60 days. I hope, but I wouldn't be probable that it ends quickly. But what do we need to be aware of in the current status? So there's really two big things you've got to be aware of is if you're dealing with a property that's in the 100-year floodplain, you have to get a flood insurance on that property. And this government organization is shut down. And what most lenders will do is they'll find a way to bypass the necessity of this, but it's going to be disruptive if you have a property that's in a 100-year floodplain. So if you're selling something that backs up to the Chattahoochee, you better be on top of it. And then the second thing is it does have an impact on government-backed mortgage lending. So you might think that's just FHA and VA, but it's not. It is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, and some others. It's basically about 70% of U.S. mortgages are going to have some impact on this government shutdown. Now, I want to be clear. It's not going to keep you from closing property, but it will take extra time and it won't be as smooth. And you've got to be on top of the lending process, whether you use a transaction coordinator, you might need phone calls with your transaction coordinator. If you've got your lender partner, you probably need to be very proactive of, hey, has my client got you all their documentation? What can I do to help support this? And I think it would be a good team meeting conversation around bulletproofing your transactions, because it's not going to keep you from closing real estate. But if anything, it's going to be a little bit of a short-term annoyance if you're closing something in the next 30 days and this thing lasts a while. But the conclusion of this summarizes it very easy. It just says, well, the core of the conventional mortgage market is expected to function. A government shutdown will introduce significant friction and uncertainty into the U.S. housing market. The suspension of the NFIP, which is the flood insurance, and the USDA rural housing loans. So if you're dealing with land or rural property, it's probably going to have some frustration for it, represents the most immediate threat to transactions. A prolonged shutdown would amplify these values, significantly affecting consumer confidence and risking a slowdown in the broader housing recovery. Hopefully, cross your fingers, this thing doesn't go on forever, but you need to be on top of it. And this is old news probably by December, but right now it's very current news.
It's another consulting opportunity with your client to make sure they're aware of pitfalls and roadblocks and stumbling points. And it's also a good time to make sure they're aware that if they choose an in-house lender that you have a relationship with a quality company, the odds of circumnavigating successfully go up incrementally, and that you have accountability and relationship that trumps systemic issues that often show up.
Yep. And this next article is kind of a mute point in the sense that I think most people on this call know that about 20% of listings are slashing prices and that buyers are starting to gain a little bit of an upper hand. But the reason I wanted to put this article here is I think as a real estate professional, it helps you to have third-party data with talking to your clients. So I wanted you just to have access to this article if you're in a conversation around price reductions, you're in a conversation with a seller, and you can maybe strategically position stuff like this to help in that conversation. Make sense?
It does, but I laugh at the clickbait in there. I mean, slashing prices, that means someone overpriced 20% and reduced it 25. You know, it's a hyper local business, and I wish there were some like awesome, ridiculous investment deals, but I'm not seeing that many. So maybe this is a good final conversation to have. Are you guys seeing slash prices and investing opportunities?
Vicky's doing multiple offers over ask, probably.
So that would not imply slashing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying it clickbait. But again, here's the thing. Your clients are potentially reading headlines and you need to be out in front of it with the facts. That's the gift you bring as the consummate real estate professional.
Boom. We have the articles posted in Circle. We'll post the social media scripts in Circle. Appreciate you guys. If you missed the beginning, what you need to know is the market is speeding up, not slowing down right now. And that's a really positive thing. So get out there and make your money.
Good to see everybody's smiling face. This is my favorite part of my day.
I'm glad we're back on Zoom.
I am too.
All right.
Good to see you guys. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye. Thank
Hey,
you.
y'all.
We love you.